I'm just here chilling in the car with the pussy. I'm not kidding. That's Mellow. Mellow, 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 mellow. Mellow, 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 mellow. The cat jumps in the car because he knows I'm hotboxing in the car. So the cat is probably as high as I am right now. he looks for me. He finds me wherever the hell. It's my little smoking buddy. Anyways, so I've been doing some videos of my solutions to several different problems, like the unsolvable riddle, which is basically an idiot trap. I mean, the moment you do it, if you don't realize that when you solve it, you're like, yes, that's the solution, and then a little while later, no, this is the solution, and you keep even better solutions for it, and to the point where you realize, wait a minute, hold on, something's happening here. I mean, after like the third or fourth one, if you can't catch that it's got an infinite amount of solutions, then you're an idiot. But anyways, I also posted my solution to the which came first, chicken or the egg, and there's two possible solutions for that, and I gave them both. Also with aliens, it's just stupid. Why would we use radio waves when the only form of light that is artificially produced by man, in other words, is laser light? You know, if we just had a satellite up there looking for laser light, we'd find them instantly. And we might even be able to communicate with them using the property of entanglement, quantum entanglement. So, but now I wanted to talk about something interesting because from all the multiverse theories that I've seen, um, I never heard of this one. And this is multiverse theory. I can prove 150% that there is a multiverse and we're living in it. So, this is my multiverse theory. I haven't seen anybody point it out. It's the most obvious one. So, first, I'm going to have to explain to you dimensions. A lot of times when you hear the word dimension, you're thinking like an alternative universe, and that's not what dimensions are. That would be a parallel universe or whatever. A dimension is a measurement of space or time. So, zero dimensions, obviously, would be nothing. One dimension is actually made up of an infinite amount of zero dimensional points. So, you'd have a line. And that line, any place that you intersect it, you'd find a zero dimensional point. So, it's made up of an infinite amount of them, and it travels in both directions into infinity because it would continue to stretch on forever. You take it to a second dimension, now you have a plane, which a plane is the same thing. You'd have an infinite amount of lines. So this thing would spread out in every direction, or omnidirectionally, as an infinite amount of lines stretching out from a central point. And once you take it to three dimensions, now that circular plane becomes a sphere, and that sphere expands in every direction. Uh, so if you slice that sphere, you'd find those circular planes, and if you slice the planes, you'd find the lines, and if you slice the lines, you'd find zero, nothing. That's actually how the universe actually formed, by the way. Um, People just don't get it. It's dimensionally. This is why everything is floating away from everything else. Everything, the central point, there is no central point to the universe unless you go into the subatomic, because everything expanded from there. But that's another topic. Um, so again, once you have this sphere, and the sphere is made out of all these infinite amount of two-dimensional planes. Well, the sphere would just be there. So now you need an infinite amount of spheres to create what we call time. So if you think of it like film in a camera, we're film, you know. If you just took one slice of that two-dimensional plane, then you just have me, and that's it. The whole universe would be like that. But we have time, which is the film itself. In fact, if you look at us like yourself, or if you looked at me, as a fourth dimensional being from a fifth dimension, what you would see is me, my whole life, every place I've ever been to, the earth spinning around the sun spinning around the galaxy and everything, and I would just be a little line tracing back and forth all over the place. It would be like a squiggle, because you'd see all the slices as one solid thing. Um, so it might be getting a little bit too heavy. Yeah, once you start thinking in six or seven dimensions, then the brain starts to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I promise you. It's hard. But again, time would be that whole sphere, which would be the whole universe, and it would be all the little slices of three dimensions, pure three dimensions, which is frozen without time. Time is the thing that makes us a four-dimensional object. Well, that is a multiverse, wouldn't it be? Right? Am I wrong here? You'd have a multiverse of three-dimensional universes, each one a little bit larger than the next, and that's what causes time. So the multiverse is time. I mean, that's just obvious, isn't it? So you'd have an infinite amount of three-dimensional static universes. So the multiverse is not what you guys think. It's not me with a universe where my hair didn't fall out, or me as a woman, or me as a reptilian, or me as or all the possibilities. It's time. It's coherent. It goes from one step to the next, and it has order to it, just like the universe does. So my multiverse theory is time. It's the most obvious one. Why didn't you guys think of that? So anyways, I just wanted to point that out, that time is the multiverse. We're seeing it. It's all around us. I have another theory, which is that our galaxy is what we're seeing in the universe is also the multiverse. Every galaxy is made up of the same shit we are, just arranged a little differently and stuff. So I think that if we were to travel to other galaxies, we'd find versions of Earth, and it's so many of them that you would have every single possibility expressed in every single galaxy. So I think galaxies are just copies of each other. I think it's like the one electron theory, where you only have one galaxy and it's spread out like a superposition. So that's my theory. Unified field theory would be the same thing. It's basically the key to at least my understanding of unified field theory, and it explains everything. It really does. Once you get your mind to understand or think this way of the universe, everything else falls in place. Which is okay. Time, an infinite amount of three-dimensional spaces. So 3D atoms, 2D quarks, 1D strings, and zero-dimensional points, which is coincidentally what would happen in a black hole. Um, think of it this way. If you travel faster than light, you gain infinite mass, being something solid, being not a photon, right? So what happens in a black hole is exactly that, except it's not traveling faster than anything, it's not going faster than light, it's just achieving infinite mass. And I think that what happens is the moment that particle achieves infinite mass, it creates like let's say the gravitational is not, it's kind of like an anomaly. It's a sonic boom of a tachyon being created. So what happens is you have that thing gets crushed to the point where it gains infinite mass. It becomes a fifth dimensional object. So in other words, it has an infinite amount of time associated with it. And the chronoton, now the singularity, what you guys would call, travels backwards through time. Of course it does. So what you have is a weird object, because the outside of it, the gravitational part, is traveling forwards through time with the rest of the universe, but the chronoton, the singularity itself, is traveling backwards through time. So this chronoton would travel back through time in our universe. It would kind of de-evolve So it would go from a fourth dimensional object into a pure three-dimensional object, into a two-dimensional object, into a one-dimensional object, and then back to zero dimensions of time and space, which would be what we call the Big Bang. So it's a one-way trip, basically. And what you guys call spaghettification is actually the chronoton breaking down, or our matter, which would be fourth dimensional in nature, going into the singularity, crossing the event horizon, and then breaking down back again. I mean, you'd be going back through time, and you'd be also going back through space, but you'd also be going dimensionally. So you'd be going through the beginning of our universe all the way down to the beginning of a two-dimensional universe, one-dimensional, all the way down to the beginning. And that's also where I think the Big Bang came from. It just happened everywhere at once. I tried to visualize it. It's a little hard to imagine nothing expanding into everything, like each dimension as it grows. And it's you want to get a headache real fast. Try to visualize that. But it doesn't stop. So the other interesting thing is, if I'm correct with the black holes, that they all lead back to the beginning of the universe, zero time, zero space. And that means that the universe is expanding and collapsing at the same time. So those people that are assuming and mathematically trying to prove that it's expanding forever, yes. The people who think that it's going to collapse into itself, yes, it's doing both things at the same time. Because at the same time, all these black holes, I mean, what's around every galaxy? A black hole. So eventually they'll suck up everything. And the universe will kind of it'll like a tesseract. It will flip itself inside out and start all over again. So the universe also recycles, which is interesting. So that's my multiverse theory and my unified field theory and my theory about black holes and stuff. So it's weird because I'm smart, but I never got an education, and I used to be pissed off about that. But now it's like I see that it's nice because I understand something just enough to understand it, and I will associate things that are kind of like Tesla. Tesla used his electrical knowledge to make mechanical things, and they were interrelated. So it's kind of like that. I'm able to like not have to learn something to understand it because I can compare it to other things, and everything is fucking connected. You know one thing, you know everything. So it's at least if you understand one thing, it helps you to understand other things. Kind of like with people with instruments, that they learn a piano and now you can pick up a guitar and other stuff. It's kind of like what I got. So, anyways, that's my. Oh my god, look at this cat. He's stoned as I am. Anyways, I just wanted to share that, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I know for a fact that I'm right about the multiverse one. I also may have invented free energy. I know now that everybody's using magnets and all this goofy shit. Um, I got a 3D printer upstairs, and hopefully I can print out a prototype. Um, the energy for it is all around us. It's so, it's just there. And hopefully, if you see my solutions to some of these riddles and some of the solutions I have for finding aliens, and you'll take me seriously when I say that, yeah, I figured out free energy. So I'm actually working on making a prototype. And right now, it's what the world needs, I think. We can tell everybody to go fuck themselves. And that's a resource everybody is always fighting over. So maybe if I can make this and make the world a little bit better place than when I came into it, that would be a blessing. So, anyways, peace.